we should be able, if people are moving north, we should be able to move north with them and not go the other way. That way, we are all sharing the same vision that they are. We should be able to professionalize our league and make our clubs understand that they're all businesses. All the successful clubs in Europe and Africa are all businesses. They conduct businesses and they're able to sell and make money to run their clubs. We have to professionalize our league and have a league management body that will have its own president and have an executive that is manned by the clubs, so that these clubs will sit together with the federation and look at areas where we can be able to make monies. Gate takings. You have to have clubs involved in these things to tell them that when we get more people involved, we make more gate takings, returns go back to the clubs. Giving these clubs, reducing, taking out the registration fee of 15,000, telling clubs, oh, since we came into office, clubs don't pay registration fees. That's 15,000. What is 15,000? Okay, you're supposed to give clubs subventions. They struggle to get those subventions. You give them half, or you give them quarter, or you give them 40%, and then they struggle to get the rest, where monies are being spent on other areas. So we feel that we should be able to utilize that as a business, where clubs can become businesses and become professional. And that is why we want to ensure that those who win the league get $1.5 million is when they win the league. Because when they win the league, they have $1.5 million. They're able to go and participate in the CAF in the club championships. They don't need to worry about tickets. They know 1.5 that can at least move them. That's about $30,000 or $25,000. That can move them somewhere else. Okay. Income generating activities. We should be able to help clubs, help them in replica jersey merchandise sales. I was in Tanzania and I saw how people were buying replica jerseys of Yonga and Simba. Unless and until we have those infrastructure in place, we train clubs to be able to do that, it is not going to work. That is why we want to build capacities. Even the players association that you belong, how do we have to make them legitimate so people understand that these are the people who look into the welfare of players? So we want to professionalize the league. We want to ensure that we teach clubs ways and means to make monies, to be able not to be reliant on the subventions they're getting from the federation. That is not going to take any club anywhere. So we must professionalize our league. We must help clubs to become financial self-sustaining so that they can run their own clubs without having to rely on anybody to make money. We should be able to teach them on how to claim their solidarity and training compensation. We should be able to regulate transfers between domestic transfers between clubs and clubs. Sometimes a club leaves a domestic club here and goes to another club, and eventually that player gets sold. This other club even gets nothing. We should be able to make clubs understand that they need to help each other to be able to do that so these clubs can benefit. Unless and until we start thinking progressive and business-minded, clubs are going to struggle.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to say, yeah, because in your manifesto, it's like you say about restoring confidence, and I think you already highlighted like the confidence level, how low the confidence level is when it comes to Gambian football because of not fulfilling their what they promised the general public when they were campaigning. So they kind of did not fulfill those promises. But then you say confidence is low. How do you intend to restore this confidence to the general public? Because as I think we can all generally agree that the confidence of Gambian people generally on when it comes to GFF is very, very low.
Chama bala mo tonto muna sa nyambas dara rek moy ne chama sim su digla sa wax moy for dem man ma ngi am na sa experience ñu organize bu ñu defal award night for dem ne GFF nga joggé rek dañu leen hey abol balal ñun amuñu ay affaire understand people are scared to work with GFF understand nga so comme Mr. Kamaso pour yoko ci lu cham wax rek lool moy suñu main challenge right now league bo xamne for the past years mu tan sponsor because of people are scared to work with the federation.
That is simple. Accountable governance, transparency. And that is why we said we want to change the mindset of the general population and the stakeholders with key focus on organizational effectiveness, transparency, accountability, and development. Because if you're not accountable to the people, if you're not transparent with the people, they do not trust you. Okay? I'm not talking about people don't trust them, but I said there's a substantial erosion of confidence. And if somebody doesn't have confidence in you, it is difficult to convince them to conduct any businesses with you. So we want to be accountable to the people. For instance, now that we've come back from chairs, if it were my executive where I was heading, by now we would have told the general population how much we earned, how much we've spent in that match. When you do things, you should be accountable to the people. Tell them how much you're earning, how much you're spending. Because unless and until people get to understand these things, they do not trust you because they hear, okay, $6 million is what is available to you every 4 years. $4 million on operational costs and $2 million on extra projects. But what you do with this, tell the people, not just the state, be clear, accountable governance. Because if you want somebody to trust you or dealing with monetary issues, be accountable to people, tell them. Just as recent as last month, we were all told that the GFF has signed a league sponsor, a partnership or a sponsor for the league. How much it is, how long it is, nothing has been told. Nothing has been shared with the people. How do you expect people to believe this? That is what gives people confidence. You need to tell people how much the sponsorship package is, how long it is for, and what those people are getting in return. But if you do not do that, or we've signed a partnership and that's it, that's where you stop. People don't know what it is. Accountability is key. So those are the areas we want to work. And that's why we said, even in all the individual committees, we are going to ensure that independent people who are not within football are invited to serve. One person in each of these committees will be an independent person. So you have somebody who thinks outside the box, who has a different mindset as to how these things are operating, to build stakeholder confidence. We must be able to earn people's trust, because trust is one thing. When you lose, it is difficult to earn back. So we have to walk our way to earn that. So accountable governance is one area we want to ensure that we use to be able to earn the trust of the stakeholders.
Yeah, that's I think that's very clear. Coach, I'm going to your camera.
Wow, ciao, pour ñu fatale ko rek programme olof la la suñu orienté dañu attaquer ci comment.
Ouais.
Understand? Degala anglais wi ci la bokk waye pour ñu léral rek ñu sa kam so dañu gëna understand ne programme ci orienté olof lañ ko gëna xaar.
Ah, ci Gambia football show la gis de bindu len fa dara ci olof so len ko bindé so
ay olof football bo tabala.
Ah?
Wala bi mix la bro.
Jalo mix rek. Waxtaani football Gambia programme bi kon waxtaani football Gambia la warona tudda.
Okay.
Waaye dañ dee mix chaque man moom dama dee over jaxase dama dee laa si angale bi dugg si olof bi because dégg mo benn laaga loolu laa lay wax ci man dégg mo benn laaga but yeah we can try to mix it up xam nga rek coach yeah go ahead.
Wow. mu ngi mention about the players association. As of now ñu ngi am benn problem which is like having players registered with the association. Understand? We have been finding ways dem nañ sensitization dem clubs around clubs yëpp wax players yi. But dafa am na lu gën a yombal lu ma yaakaar ne with the federation mën nañu see dimbale mooy ok hence ñoom we are allied association with the federation lu ñu war def ñun lu ñu yaakaar loolu la ñu war def mooy pour players ñu register si ñun is very easy. Why can't they just, because they are giving up subvention to clubs every season comme ni ko Mr. Kamaso waxee. It's very simple. Like the new registration fee for a whole season is only $100. Why can't they talk to clubs? Okay, players also ñu leen mën a dooleel because they are also stakeholders. Why can't like li ñu wax mooy some mu leen dañoo génne 30 registered players yi ñu génne fa $100 each team xam la ñoo génne $3,000 dañu seen accounts of the GFPA which is the Gambia Football Players Association. Understand nga gis ne liggéey bi dina yomb si ñëpp léegi club bi ñoom su leen neexee ñoom mën nañoo dog players seen salary pour génne fa $1,000 waaye jam nañ notify players ne leen you know what contributor nañ leen si seen Players Association bi den nga gis ne ñu doon suñu work dina easy xam nga gars yi tamit ñu mel ñu tamit ñu am sit and say on the Players Status Committee which ñun am very representative te ñun we are here for the players so if you are in office ndax li ñu mën a dimbale si lu ñoo ñaxtu.
Wow, Che, xam nga ñun Players Association is a very important association in football because players are the most important people si football bi parce que su fekkee ne players amut dara lu ñoo mën a def there's nobody there to entertain you. Yeah, we ball on a pitch, but it's the players who are the reasons why we go to these matches. That is why we ñun dañ wax ne sax dañoo am a medical fund and a players welfare. Medical fund bi is to help players yoo xam ne have career-threatening injuries, amuñ ku leen ko fajal or seen clubs yi ñu ngi struggle. So dinañ leen mun a dimbale from foofu noonu. There'll be a committee that will be looking into that. That is one aspect. Players' welfare, because of a group boo xam ne or an association moo xam ne moo saytu wàllum players yi seen welfare. You need to be federation bi dafa war a won nit yi ñooñu lan mooy seen liggéey won players yi tamit man musuma gis fu federation bi engage clubs yi pour waxtaan ak ñoom si affaire players association bi pour won leen ne ñii lii mooy seen liggéey because body boo xam ne yow yaa ko establish yaa ko create foog nga sensitize stakeholders yi ne body bi dañ ko create te lii mooy seen liggéey unless and until loolu am na da nga am a tug of war between the players association and the clubs as well because sometimes the lack of understanding mu fa because of yenn clubs yi dañoo feel ne players association dañoo ñëw pour teg leen yenn stress yoo xam ne waaw ñun ñu ngi amee suñ player ñu ñëw di ñu teg non benn liggéey bi ngeen nekk di def but from different angles players association moo amee welfare players yi su fekkee ne yéen da ngeen am programme of activities lii mooy seen programme of activities gis nga li Infantino def mooy di forward da ngeen a am projects da ngeen am lii ngeen bind ne lii ngeen bugga ñu jox leen xaalis yi in milestones. Players Association should be able to have its program of activities. Li ak li lañ bëgg def ñu jox leen seen subvention ñoom ñuy conduct seen liggéey ñuy report. If they do not report, then nga téye seen xaalis. But so long as they're working, you should be able to give them money so they can go and look into the welfare of players. We talk about the foreign players. ñooñu dem nañ ba pare. ñooñu dem nañ ba pare. You have thousands of players ñoo xam ne ñu ngi fii nii that the Players Association needs to look into their welfare. They need to be able to talk to them to understand loo leen ne sax even contracts yoo leen dee sign lii moo si nekka war nga ko understand léegi-léegi player bi moo dee wrong léegi-léegi it could be the club. So engagement yooyu yëpp dafa war a am foog ñu engage guys so people have that understanding. Ñun what we are going to do, we are going to give the Players Association that legitimacy so that they understand ne lii mooy seen liggéey dañoo tukkee ak yéen through the length and breadth of the country ne there is an association moo xam ne moo saytu wàllum players yi seen welfare so leen amee issues foofu ngeen ko dem complainer foofu ngeen ko waxee so ñoom suñu buggee create seen own contribution boo xam ne lii lañ bugg a laajte Players Association war nañu am seen AGM war ngeen a mun a organise seen AGM boo xam ne players yi ñooy ñëw seen captains yi ak yooyu noonu captain yi club bu nekk dafaa ñëw pour ngeen wax yéen players yi lii ngeen bugg a ak lii fii ngeen bugg a dem waa léegi dinañ bugg di contribute nangam pour suñu welfare su fekkee ne am na player bu retire sax lii lañ ko so dañoo def loolu ak yéen su player retire nga bugg a def business Players Association mun nañ laa jàppale si lii soo buggee tukki nga am problème fii nii mun nañ laa jàppale si loolu soo foog ñu toog ñu xalaat yéen an ideas ngeen am soo dañ koo def ak yéen waaye foog ñu jox leen légitimation pour ngeen mun a liggéey because da ngeen a dem si yenn clubs yi ñu ne Players Association du ñoo def yi ñi du ñëw di ñu wax suñu player lan lañ leen a def but then benn liggéey bi ngeen nekk di def but it's a different approach so ñun dañ leen a jox that legitimacy pour ensure ne seen liggéey mun ngeen koo def su dee da ngeen a charge play $100 a month or so dinañ xool is this doable is this viable what do you want to use it for foog ñu toog ñu xoolaat ko yëpp lii de play boo xam ne nekkul di am salary bii di nga bëgg koo laaj loolu dina difficult club boo xam ne nekkul di am xaalis bi nga bëgg koo laaj loolu dina difficult so ñun dinañ xool fan la ñoo mën a jëlee xaalis pour mun a doxal loolu pour Players Association mun a dox because players are the most important people they are the most important people in this game ñun administration si dañoo administre nguur sax so amee président boo xam ne amul government dañ la dee ne government bu legitimate so amutee population amut boundary then it's not legitimate so the federation cannot be legitimate if there are no players so loolu mooy lu ñu war a xoolaat so foog ñu jox leen doole bi pour wan leen ne yéen a tax ñuy play yéen a ñu dee bégal yéen a ñu dee jox luñ bugga so foog ñun tamit ñu liggéey ak yéen pour affaire yi mun a jëm kanam.
Yeah, definitely te ñun lu ñu la cee bëri $100 pour full season loolu xanaa play bu am salaire sax war a mun a toppatoo loolu club am toppatoo ko loolu et club su ma génnee $3,000 pour faire sa 30-man squad yaakaar naa loolu wota difficult de.
waaw foofu la professional league bi di ñëwee foofu la professional league bi di ñëwee because su professional league bi ñëwee clubs yoo xam ne mit nañ criteria bi dinañ ko mun a def xam nga beneen problème moo fi nekk mooy ok dama bëgg a establish club bi dama bëgg a establish club te xëy na amuloo noo ko doxalee loolu taxul comme right now yaa ngi am everybody is setting up an academy just because da nga bëgg a set up academy does not mean you can set up an academy loolu lañu war a teg si xeli nit yi 2-3 nit ñu ngi bëgg a set up academy lu tax ñooñu mënu ñoo boole seen idea yi together ñu set up academy ñu support ko ñu am fan la ñoo mën a amee xaalis waaye da nga am jóori academy mënut a dox di nga am nit yu bëgg a set up club ba pare amuloo financial muscle bi so balaa ngaa sonal sa boppam foog ñu dimbale leen ñu xool naka la ñoo doxalee lii so professional league bi su ñëwee foog ñu am minimum wage players seen social security or seen tax bi ñu ko fay. So at the end of the day, su fekkee ne gars yi retire nañ sax xëy na su dee social security or whatever, there's somewhere that they can look into. Su fekkee ne players welfare bi mu ko dee somewhere they can go to ñu ut xaalis bu ñu leen a abal su dee dañoo jënd taxi nga ko fay or something ngam nga yooyu yëpp war na faa mun a nekk. Loolu yëpp lu ñu war a mun a def la. We have to be thinking business like. From 1952 ba tey ñu ngi xalaat amateur way. We have to be thinking business like to be able to move forward. Unless we start thinking, how do monies come from outside of FIFA? Thank
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Go learn.
Yeah. So, young now very academies, like you know, they very passionate when it comes to talking about academy, when it comes to talking about youth football, when it comes to talking about grassroots football, things like that. So, what is your policy on when it comes to promoting these two sectors? Grassroots football, I mean, below 12, and youth football, I mean, from 12 years to 18 years. So these are all categories of football. Especially when it comes to the Gambia. They are so focused when it comes to academy football. Daniel Academy, like when it comes to 12 years, youth football actually, from 12 years upwards. But when it comes to the younger ones, we used to have it when we are in primary school. We have a competition, like you know, we used to organize activities for the younger ones. But now, and I think it's causing a problem in the Gambian football, which is overage players. Always players in the one age. Every time they grow the one age, because we don't have this system where young them from this level to this level to them. There is no sequential order. Of course, this is an African problem, not just a Gambian problem. But I think it's very important to have a grassroots setup. You set up senior setup. Everything a very good system to reach to that level. I am very passionate when it comes to talking about these aspects of football. So what is your policy when it comes to promoting youth football and grassroots football?
Grassroots football is the way forward. I mean, we have to regularize and develop grassroots football because when you regulate grassroots football, we're not going to go anywhere. Price control, sometimes you have that and it becomes an issue. We should be able to regulate grassroots football in the sense that there are so many people who want to establish academies. You have to give them credit. They take money from their own pockets, get on academy, they're struggling, and there's nothing that they gain from it. Eventually, them see a bigger club, and these academies don't even claim training, solidarity compensation or whatever, because we all know from 12 to 21, academy, to become a professional, you're due for training and solidarity compensation. But these things are not being done. And can you put the bills and capacity for you understand then you one of these cheating issues is going to become a thing of the past. Because then you regulate academies in such a way that every region you're responsible for send academy. We'll have a digital platform for Hamne, Niti, then you register guys, send name, send date of birth, it's there. It doesn't change. It is digitalized. Nobody gets to change that. Man, kuma hamdinala wane man yefi cheating ini bokumasi. Kunyo si man ne man no dama buga defli dama la dene man bokumasi hauma. You understand? Because of you do that once and it comes back to haunt you 10, 15 years down the line. So we have to try and avoid that as much as possible. We should be able to regulate academies. Nga am 3, 4 nit yena kotosi bena konbi, you am different academies. Why can those people come together and form an academy and financially support it will grow? And then they have a system in place where they regulate that. New profiles and players, danger files. Anytime player again as you can buy unceremoniously or then could transfer officially to another place. Anytime you become a professional, you can claim your training compensation. You must be thinking of ways and means to be able to sustain that academy financially. But just because man coach la one, establish academy, no. We should be able to help people understand that academies must be regulated. You must be able to have A, B, and C in place to be able to have an academy. Otherwise, it's just like come agriculture, nga am garden bu ndaw ak an orchard. Waaye ñu ngi grow sen lifi ni amuñ fuñ ko jaayé. What is the essence of it? Nga dem jënd fertilizer, nga dem di di sorti ndox di def lu nekk waaye am nga sa fruits yi léegi amuloo foo ko jaayee. Eventually nit moo ko fekk si mbedd bi rek mu jël ko bu yóbbu ko. You lose. So foog ñu help leen foofu noonu tamit ne one club si ne you have to have a link with them. Ñu dimbali academy suñu leen register anytime a player leaves them because sometimes nit contract ga mun naa jeexa yow ngay leave as a free player fine. But time bu mu nekkee woon si yoon yow am nga details. Anytime you become a professional, you submit your information that you're claiming training compensation. You do for that. and yow tamit mun nga am link with clubs boo xam ne yow soo amee xale nga bëgg koo transfer after mun nga koo jox. And the most important thing, academic tournament. When was the last time you saw an academic tournament here? We're talking about school football. School football should encompass both the academies and open football. The academies is seen bopa because am na xale yoo xam ne ñu ngi si school bi bokkuñ si school team bi xëy na dañ leen oversight au seen school bokkut fa waaye mu ngi si académie bi au nekk di dem school. But you promote it in such a way that xale yaa ngi si académie yoo xam ne ñu ngi mun football tournament amut suñ amutee competition. How do you see it? What would be more beautiful? What would be more gratifying than having a tournament boo xam ne nit yi dañoo scouts yi dañoo dem team yu mag yi dañoo dem foofu di seet xale yi amut fii. It doesn't happen. So region bu nekk war naa mun a am academic tournament am then nga am a national one boo xam ne ñëpp a ñëw si stadium bi or goal project or wherever ñu seet xale yi. It is so beautiful. The other day maa ngi doon romb somewhere in Bakote xale yu ndaw ñu ngi sol ay vest foofu mu ngi fees del amut fence nit yaa ngi ñëw di seetaan. It was so beautiful and I'm thinking this is a waste because somebody could have made a lot out of this. So for ñu mun a expose talent xale yu noonu scouts yi di xool di identify gars yi ne ok kii in 2 years time bugga naa ko. We saw lan la ñoom aspire daan def fii dañoo ñëw jël fii xale yi comme ñoom Moru foofu lañ demoon ñëwu leen si centre ñu train leen eventually ñu bàyyi leen but loolu amut fii. So those are some of the things, centers of excellence you have the individual sax mun nañ naa moom xale yi dem fa ñu dëkk fa di dem school so suñ grow eventually they go there. But fuck ñu dimbale leen and we regulate this, we stabilize it so people can take this to another level. But less than until that is done, ñu jël football as a charity or something loo xam ne dañoo dimbale nit yi, it is not going to work. Or kaay la ñu jàppa si rek comme nawetaan yi looloo tax nawetaan yes is good but da ngaa gis ne nawetaan gox bi ku nekk rek booy cee jox ñu foofu noonu 5,000 suñ benn photo moo ñu jox 2,000 loolu du ko sustain.
It's not sustainable.
It's just for a month. Why so by help in the one community teams after a month or two guys then boy jël leen seen football bi ngeen dem because lii du continue man maa ngi am family bu ma dugal suma xaalis. But when you make them feel ne lii am na returns eventually su ñoo jaay player club bi dina sustain boppam ku dugaloon xaalis xëy na dinañ la dox then you're able to convince a lot of people to come in.
Yeah, definitely. I see it. I mean, GFF. There is a lot of training going on when it comes to coaching development. But most of the times, like we have a lot of coaches in the Gambia right now. I think a lot of coaches have batches when it comes to like the CAF licensing. But at the end of the day, they implement. We are overdeveloping coaches in a way. But then you pointed out about grassroots football, where there is not necessarily coaching, it's all about parenting. Because when you are talking about dealing with 5-year-old to 9-year-old, it's all about parenting. Up to 10-year-old or something, it's all about parenting. But are we considering that aspect of grassroots football? Musuma dega train somebody to be a parent for a kid going forward. Like that is what I do. So more I have a little bit of knowledge about it. So grassroots football is a bit tricky one, but it's not something that we don't train our coaches for. We only train them to coach the older ones. Do you have something, a plan to introduce this?
Capacity building. Ideas. We don't mind people stealing our ideas and go to town with it. Capacity building. That is why we said capacity building and development. Because so building capacity, develop law on it. It doesn't, because you're young coaching lead. Dafa mel ni medical school or law profession. Dem nga def nga sa law school. Why then you still nga dem bar school pour nga janga yeneen because loolu they build their capacity in certain areas. Then they dem pupillage as well. Nga xam ne kooku dina la teach some things. Mentoring. That is what doesn't happen. Because some of these coaches are not mentored. Because am na coaches yoo xam ne xamuñ naka la ñoo dealee xale. Te ñu ngi run academies. We must be able to develop some of these capacities we've built. We are overdeveloping capacities of coaches. No. CAF CAF A license, CAF Pro, pour nga toog si bench for CAF Interclub Championship. Ñun ba léegi B license is the highest we have. We are left behind. We still need to do a lot. And I told some of the coaches, so build capacity, we do a lot of research on your own, not linga janga fofu nonu rek, because it makes you better. Like Che mom, he manak mom dañ share ideas a lot, and he's somebody who likes to learn. And that is what I admire about him. And I keep telling him, I want to be better.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, you go and learn and understand how you are able to deal with younger players, to be able to do that. So nit ki dang de buga wara assess sa bop nga xol sa dole fan la nekk ngay learn from other countries. When you travel, look at 10 areas of performance fu nekk yow sa area fu nekk nga gis ne fi de ñu ngi lack. Don't be shy to ask. Learn from them and understand what they are doing so you can replicate that. Consultancy as well. Lulu mo ñoo move forward, but if we confine football within a small parameter ne waaw ñi la ñi ñoo ko doxal ñi ñoo xam ay affaire yépp, we are not bigger than that. We should be able to teach people ñoo xam ne dañ mëna deal ak xalel. Xalel da nga am noy deal ak mom ak noy deal ak mak. So some of those people need to be taught to understand ne ñi li moy sen doole. We have the likes of ñom T-boy ñoo xam ne ñom under age category rek lañ nekk di trainal. Am na lu am. Bring them back. Let them expose their ideas to some of these coaches pour ñu understand ne xale ni nga de deal ak mom ni nga waxe ak mak because am na time bo xam ne xalel xejna am na ñu ko bully ci dara muy ñew ñu nekk ci konam ak yoy nonu. You should be able to see those things to be able to understand. But if we do not do a consultation and have a holistic approach to these things, you involve Kuneka, it is not going to work. That is my honest opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I want to rectify like this. Like you say, my one overdeveloped. So it's just about the balance. I mean, it's not over, but necessarily the balance. We are just focusing on one area. And it's better to balance it. We maybe 30% develop this side, 30% this side, and the other 40% go to the upside. So because I have sequence here, we follow to the highest echelon. Coach, I have other question because you are the 30 minutes that you go on, so 30 minutes is almost elapsed now. So please,
Mangi am benen meeting sax bala ma ñew ci sen show bi mangi amone a meeting with a former international ko xamne dafa bëgg set up for something xam nga so mangi am benen meeting why it's okay benen
ko boy ya ngi mute boy bul mute affaire bi ya ngi def de ana ya def ngir mute bi
okay ma ngi mute okay Mr. Kamaso maa ngi recall bu ñu am suñu si lesson si opening ceremony bi yaa fan yaa yoo la ngay senoon nga ñëw so yaa ngi waxoon benn woot am na kàddu yoo fa waxoon sax am na boo xam ne boobu laa jàpp understand mooy ne nga ne Gambian football is lacking behind. Only referees are progressive, but coaches and administrators are lagging behind. There are now protests about the coaches in the CAF league in the Continental Championship of what if you come in office, what are your aims and objectives, or what do you want? What do you intend to change and make sure that we'll have more administrators in CAF and FIFA level?
Training programs, Chair. Because gis nga program areas you know yep ñom CAF ak FIFA lu ñu def dañ set a criteria no so mité li it's just like suñ ne so nekutee medical doctor do mëna faj nit so nekutee lawyer mënu lo represent nit so qualified as a mechanic mënu laal mënu jambur so nekutee carpenter mënu lo def li mën nga nekka talibé ci dara but nekka ngulo serignam. So we are going to do a lot of capacity development to ensure people reach there. Targets you CAF this set ñun dañoo try to meet those targets. As you heard me right, I said it, yes, because referees them playing up to FIFA level. So you coaches can more international level apart from Tafa Mane, who's coaching outside. You know, Nyom T-boy, Hamga, Nyom coach outside, Nyom Pa Dembo, you get flipping with other countries, but at that level. So we need to ensure that people meet those criteria. We have to be able to work with coaches because you know they jungle hale. Because for you to am that platform to be able to teach the young ones. So let's develop that conducive environment. It is going to be difficult. So for you start from somewhere. So we are going to ensure that coaches have the required skills to be able to manage the young ones. And how we do that, we fast track some of these programs. We are going to engage CAF to say that we are being left behind when it comes to getting the A licenses or the pro licenses. How do we do this? Let us move forward. Like the technical director has done. He's done a tremendous job trying to bring in this B license and the C license. And you've seen you had over 60 participants who had the C licenses now. Most of these coaches cannot even sit on a bench. I don't think there's any coach in Gambia who now qualifies to sit on a CAF Interclub Championship bench. None. Because of Legi CAF Pro A la ñu laajte. So ñun bi lañ am. Kenn amu fi CAF A, much more pro. How do we reach there? So you professionalize the league, we move with that. So it is not just one side that is moving. The referees are doing their badges. They've been playing at FIFA, Nyom Papa Gassama, them Nyom Maudo, you play CAF Interclub Championship, AFCON, and all that. We need to have our coaches moving in that level because then they can share those ideas down to the stage. We have to have that belief, our local coaches can do it. unless and until we do that, because coaches see foog ñu dool leen doole bi foog ñu dimbale leen pour ñu mun a egg that to that level. We have to fast track that for our coaches to be able to do that. Otherwise, dañoo is rush daf dee embarrassing nga dem CAF Interclub Championship coaches yi ñu ngi fa ñu ne non kii assistant coach la because of amuñ kenn ku am CAF A license and we're still amateur. Suñ nebo si sax a professional. We should be able to move from that stage. Coaches yi ñu ngi am a president boo xam ne he's very ambitious. You know, he has great vision, and we told him we will work with them. And that is what we intend to do. How we work with them to improve, that is when there's that cordial relationship between us and them, irrespective of what happens after August. But liñ bëgg mooy ne coaches seen boppa ñu gis seen boppa ñu xam ne waaw ñun we have a bigger stake to play because they are very key. Because coaches is not just coming there and doing these things, some man management skills, interpersonal skills, loolu yëpp dafa matter. So the earlier we do that, the better. But as I said, coaches should be able to match the referees at that stage.
Okay,
nice.
Thank you.
Coach,
I'm not supposed to go your de.
Okay, go ahead.
This time,
30 minutes la amon nak jël nañ more than 30. I normally don't like to say this on air, but how much ngeen ma mëna jégal ma dem ci suma next lifin bi. Why I'll take Chair's last question.
Yeah, take the last question from here.
The various national team setups. Okay, so if you are in office, what is your vision for the various national teams? I mean, junior under 17, under 20, 23 national team for both male and female.
All these things need to be standardized, and all of them have to be performing in all the intercontinental championships. You must ensure that is in place, and you have to ensure there are fixed coaches for all these positions. How we are going to get the money, we will engage government. Even if we have to get coaches to sacrifice to be paid monthly, a certain amount, being eager to a certain level, but you have to have fixed coaches, not at engagement level. That progress. Because if it's at engagement level, they are not tracking these players well enough. With all due respect to coaches who are there, you have to have fixed coaches, new them the whole Halei, and then they have a meeting, a national team department where these coaches meet every day to talk, profile Halei, the whole guy, so they know who is growing from one stage another. The under 17 male, under 17, under 19 male, under 20, under 23, all these different categories. The new approach government. We want in categories here, then more and fixed coaches. Then ñom ñep dinañ xamné li moy suma relégué dama bëgg di dem su dé academy tournament mo am under 17 coach bi mu fa su dé nawetan la under 19 or under 20 coaches yi ñu fa su dé league bi la under 23 chan team coaches yi ñu fa. So all these things dang ko wara standardize ñu xam fixed coaches, not ben nit muy daw fi daw fele nele. We have enough people that can do all these things. Dañoo dem engage government, so we ensure people are manning these positions. That way they are able to follow the players that they want. Tournaments are being organized. They meet daily. They report to the technical director. You share ideas. So we have even former international players you have you don't play, play a part in these things. They organize other coaching clinics, you share ideas, training programs and activities. Otherwise, we move. You cannot be doing the same thing all the time and expect different results. You must be willing to move from the stage you are to be able to do things. Why? We don't use landline. Very few people use landlines. Everything is being done on your phone. People don't even hardly read newspapers now. So times they change. We should also be able to change along and move forward. I'm sure people will say, and we're not doing it. But if other countries are doing it, our neighbors are doing it, why can't we? Moving from where we are. We must be willing to accept the change and move further. It has to start somewhere, and we will be able to do that.
Okay, thank you.
That is a resounding answer, I think. I think so, but yeah, it's a big challenge. It's a big challenge to head an institution. Confidence is very, very low in the country. Of course, Gambia is African Co-op Mission, we definitely pandam. But at the end of the day, it's not about what GFF did. Of course, amnesty part to play, but mostly it's about players. But you have to give them credit for that. But Mr. Kamaso, I think so Coach, do you have any final word before we leave?
non di ko jaajëfal rek di ko ne moom am nga li dina gule parce que saa yu ndaw yu oote saa yu football oote rek am nga dina su amee time sax dina squeeze time make sure ne am nga represent na am nga so di ko ñaan rek all the best am nga li mu si kanam moo xam ne la ko yàlla yombalal am nga waaw di ñaan rek ñun suñu mbébét mooy Gambian football moo demee si kanam am nga so su dee moom la o su dee keneen la waaye koren dama ko wax mu leen moom man moo évident ko de wax koren GFF bi moom ñu fi nekk administration bi moom ni ñu abar rek mona sa ya xam na yow la o even man sax mun naa mo ñu taxaw
so ya ma ne campaign manager bi
non mo duma campaign dama ñu taxaw anyway am nga luñ bëgg rek Gambian football dem kanam te ñu ngi la ñaanal all the best am nga xam nañ am nga qualities am nga attribute tamit you have the professionalism to take the expression to the next level am nga I wish you all the best am nga on the future and endeavors.
Yeah, good luck, Mr. Kamaso.
Thank you, Chama. That's why I always tell people that football touches the lives of everyone, whether directly or indirectly. Because to some people, it is just a way of life. Some people, it's a religion. Hearts of today, like you're calling this the Gambia football show. You're playing a huge part, and you know, somebody sitting there, Hamuko. Even you day get fofu you day ñew fofu di jay assurance nga gis ne mairie sax suñu gisé league match mu ngi am fena ñu ñew fofu it's not just the money they make because ñata lañ fa make ja bena $50 or 75 why some people just have the passion ne xalé yang fi haram ma dem fofu nonu wala suma dom mo fa nekkal so it touches the life of everybody so whatever we do let us be accountable to the people nañ xalaat ne am na ñu topa so jël actions xalaat ne am na ñoo ci nekka am na ñeneen ñoo xam ne dinañ ci ciono. So let us do lo hamne dina satisfy niti in a way. You cannot satisfy everybody, even yonente isa satisfy ñoon ñu nekk moo tax ñëpp toppuñ dem. But ñun li ñoo ñaan nit yi mooy ne give us your vote. We will make the change because there's a leadership that has been there for 8 years. Deliver wuñ te ku la joxut añ mu dig la reer war ngaa xoolaat sa boppa war ngaa ut leneen loo dem lekki. By now, I don't think
ko wolo ko gum.
You know, so by now, ñun dal dañ feel ne dal if you're running out of ideas, you should be able to make way for people with fresher ideas, for people who have something, you know, to bring in that is different from what you're bringing. Yen ngeen move si kaw sax ñooñu ñu indi leneen loo xam ne dina move suñ football bi forward. But suñ buggee toog si benn side bi, it is not gonna go. We want to make a change and we want to move forward. And people tell me, no, halala, I'm 43. Maa ngi am jabar am ñetti doom. Suma doom mu ngi dem university. Understand what I'm saying? So if you're telling me I am young, again, nga set time current presidency bi nekk na fi 8 years. Bala ñoom seen 8 years yi you had Alaji Sila's normalization. Okay? Bala Alaji Sila normalization bi you had the Mustafa Kebe, that was another 1 year. So 9 years, 3 months or so. Then plus bala lolu am nga Alaji Omar Sy ak Alaji Obi yalla harel ajana sen normalization bi another 2 years that's 11 years bala ñu sen boss am nga fi CD door na almost 10 years that's 21 years bala CD am nga fi Gabi Sosé that's another 4 years that's 25 years bala Gabi Sosé am nga fi Alaji Obi that's 8 years señ bi ñi ñom same nit yi ñu ngi won around ñu ma wax ne man xalé la genel ati something sen ati and you tell me that some of them wanted to be in positions at the time. Send me. You cannot do the same thing all the time and expect different results. We are not just coming in just to say but we believe we can make a change and we can move the football forward. So Marlena Jaje Valiant interview bi. As I always say, my doors are always open. As we say, transparency is key. So engage with activity, so communicate with activity, you leave them in the dark, they will make assumptions and they are at liberty to make assumptions. People are at liberty to think anyhow. But unless and until nga engage in it, it will be difficult. So that's what we want to do. And lola de wa media ñun ci suñu bop sax suñu yalla dimbalé bañ dugg office ngeen feel we are not doing what we are doing, come after us, because Gambian bako mom nekul suma boss, nekul bossi Che, nekul bossi Chama. Suma numaro ne suma business creation plus ken duma wax naka la ko roné. Why public office you must be willing to talk to the public and tell them lan nga bëgg def. So jërë ngeen jëf ma ngi leena jaajëfal and our doors are always open. Anytime you want to talk to us, if the time is available, we are more than happy to come and talk to the general public. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. We can buy new continue. So we will take a break, guys, and then we will continue with the Gambia football show. Yeah.
Thank you.